We all want what's best for our children. We want them to learn, gain life skills, and develop their talents with confidence. But schools are only open for part of the day, and parents only have so much time and energy.
After class, at night, when learning centers are closed, and in situations where a student isn't sure how to ask for help, NetTutor is there to provide that extra support.
This is where NetTutor from Link Systems International steps in with their adaptable offerings for pupils, schools, and teachers.
NetTutor is an online tutoring and academic support platform that provides students with access to professionally trained, passionate, degree-holding tutors across a variety of key disciplines and hundreds of available courses.
NetTutor is one of 3 solutions Link Systems International offers higher education institutions, virtual high schools, K-12, and higher education publishers to help fill in the gaps.
The advanced interactive features we provide for those students and our customizability and transparent reporting for you help to ensure we're the solution you can trust. Just ask the schools who work with us already. Help your students move forward with confidence in the classroom and beyond, and further pursue your goals with NetTutor.
Today, I sit down with Vincent Forese, President and CEO of Link Systems International. We explore the solutions they provide that have kept their business thriving since the early days of the internet, growing into a multi-million-dollar organization while navigating multiple economic crises and the dot-com boom and bust. Here's a sneak peek of what's ahead.
A lot of our sessions start with, listen, I'm too dumb to know math, I shouldn't be in college. And I've got all kinds of letters of people who've written me and saying they never would have gotten a college degree without NetTutor, and they never would have been able to succeed in math or writing, and Pisces is the platform. NetTutor is the service, but as a school, you might want to outsource the tutoring, so we do NetTutor for you. A number of our customers do both. They put their tutors on our platform, our tutors on our platform. The big difference is we can go 24/7 in just about every subject, 365 days a year. In a school district, college district, they don't have the bandwidth to go that deep in coverage and have 24-hour coverage. We let the school sort of dictate to us, we like to do this, we don't like to do this. The schools sort of customize the relationship, because what's really important for people to remember is the students have no real capacity to say, oh, NetTutor, that's Link Systems. They just assume that we are part of the school. You need to have empathy. You need to be willing to work with a student who's struggling. You need to find enjoyment in them reaching the aha moment.
I've found 3 tools that seem to be the primary tools that you offer to the people that you work with. So there's NetTutor for online tutoring. Yep. There's Pisces, which is an educational web conferencing tool, and there's Sofia, which is for online math and English.
That's right. And Pisces is the platform. NetTutor is the service. So NetTutor happens on Pisces, but as a school, you might want to outsource the tutoring, so we do NetTutor for you. But you might want to do your own tutoring with your own tutors at a school, in which case you would do Pisces, and a number of our customers do both. Sort of hybrid customers, so they put their tutors on our platform, our tutors on our platform. And of course, the big difference is, we can go 24/7 in just about every subject, 365 days a year. In a school district, college district, they don't have the bandwidth to go that deep in coverage and have 24-hour coverage. So,
of course, that makes sense. That is one of the huge benefits of the online school options. So what I'm hearing, you tell me if I've got this wrong, is the institutions that you're working with, there's a huge amount of variety in what it is they want. And because of the way you've layered the 3 elements, they can basically mix and match to whatever suits their needs.
Yep. I believe at one point we kind of looked at it as a holistic approach.
Yeah.
I don't think that's current way we look at it, but and Sofia is sort of an online homework platform, which is taking advantage of all the newest sort of OER, sort of, you can get free books, free content, free stuff on Khan Academy. You get free books at OpenStax. So if you wanted to, you don't have to make students pay for books, or you don't have to buy books at school district, but you can't really get good quality free digital homework that's graded accurately, that tracks stuff, that posts back to your grade book. And that's what Sofia is. But the cool thing about Sofia is that at the click of a button, whatever you were working on now, that goes live to a tutor, whether it's your tutor from Pisces or my tutor from NetTutor. And now a tutor can sort of interact with you directly in your homework. And that type of integration just doesn't exist, because you'd have to be a company that delivers homework solutions and tutoring solutions, and there really aren't any. They do one or the other, and we kind of do both. But
yeah, I hear you. All right, cool. That makes sense. Vincent, we have a segment that we call elevator pitch. Do you think you'd be comfortable, and it's okay if you mess this up completely, because plenty of people have, but a surprising number of people have done this successfully. Do you think within 20 seconds you could explain what Link Systems International means to you, or what it means to the people that you work with?
You mean, so not really an elevator pitch, like if I was trapped in an elevator with the superintendent of a school district, how I would get him.
But 20 seconds, do you think you could do that?
Of course. Yeah, hi, I'm Vincent Forese, and I'm the president of Link Systems International. And what I'd like to ask you is, with all the challenges you're facing with your students today, knowing that they're struggling, especially in reading, writing, and arithmetic, what resources are you using to help them, and how can we help you do that better?
Okay, yeah. So more of a question, really, that you would ask to somebody, right?
We spend a lot of time training our salespeople to not dump solutions on people.
Yeah.
The presumption that you know better than them about what their students need and how to fix their problems, even if by some stroke of luck you did know better than them.
Yeah.
You start that conversation in a way where you're leading with what we know that you don't know. I believe has been proven pretty unsuccessful, especially in dealing with people in academia. I mean, they're the ones on the front lines. They're the ones putting their time and sweat equity into the challenges they have. They know what they're facing, and they know that students, it starts in third grade where a lot of students start to fall behind. And so middle schools are facing challenges with students coming to, fifth, sixth, seventh grade behind. Some are way ahead, some are behind. And so you start to see that the fanning of students in high school, it gets even harder, where you have some students who are on a college track. You have students who wish they were on a college track, but might be a little behind. And then students who aren't on the college track. Maybe they wish they were, but they can't be for other academic reasons, maybe some who have no interest. And then, of course, the challenges as you get to college, and then these students, a lot of them are behind, but unlike public high schools, where aside from perhaps some statewide standard tests that, states like Florida, where I am, and other places have, you can still sort of shuffle the students through, get them the credits that they need to graduate. In college, they have some pretty strict accreditation rules set for them.
Yes.
So they can't just shepherd students along. They have to actually teach them the content and prove some form of mastery, or they're at risk of losing the accreditation, which could be a death penalty to a college.
That makes sense. All right. So, Vincent, you're based out of Tampa, Florida.
Yes, I am.
As is Link Systems International, correct?
Yes.
Now, this might be wildly wrong because this is from LinkedIn, but according to LinkedIn, you guys have a roughly 126 employees. Is that about right?
Give or take. That's right.
Okay.
And then another 3,000 tutors worldwide.
3,000 tutors worldwide. Wow. Okay. I wasn't expecting that. That's a lot of tutors.
Yes. And, and I would say there's, it's the 80-20 rule. There's probably 20% of them that tutor every week, maintain some form of schedule. It's their full-time or part-time income to them. And, so with our employed tutors that we have, Tim, and by the way, I should mention we have a satellite office in Tempe, Arizona, a tutoring center out there. And so we have some employed tutors who we keep on the schedule. They also help with training and quality assurance. And they're sort of they're our A team. And then probably, 600 of our global tutors are every week on there. And so they probably do about 80% of the tutoring. And then we have another, couple thousand tutors who work a little bit on weekends. They know that we get really busy during midterms in March and let's just say October, and then finals in April, May, and December. And so they'll come on for some holiday money. But they're all, but they're very willing to basically stop working during the summer months or over the holidays where we get super, super slow. And so, we're always hiring. You can go onto our website, linksystems.com, and there's we're always looking for new tutors. And there's a never-ending amount of professional development that we're putting them through. So yeah, it's not for everybody. We do weed out quite a number of people who apply because being strong in a subject honestly can be pretty easy for us to find. If we want people who know writing really well, or people who know math or sciences or nursing, our challenges aren't to find you, but you need to have empathy. You need to be willing to work with a student who's struggling. You need to find enjoyment in them reaching the aha moment. And as I've been told by all 4 of my children, I am a terrible tutor. I am impatient, and I am all the things that we stress for our tutors to not be. And of course, and we let them police themselves. Or our tutors build the training, our tutors build the recruitment process, so they know what they're looking for, and they're pretty good at finding it.
That's funny. I like that. So that's probably why you're destined for the top spot, right? And have everybody else doing the teaching. Is that right?
That's right.
That's funny. I like that. Well, as a former teacher myself, a lot of that resonates with me. I was very, very engaged with wanting to make a difference for the kids, helping them have those kind of aha moments that you mentioned. But it's not. You notice it's not every teacher that feels that way,
That's right. Although I will say one thing that's pretty consistent, and I'm always reluctant. I have a lot of teachers in my extended family, a lot of cousins who teach, and and so I'm and they have their views of what's right and wrong in the school systems and their views. But I think what's very consistent that most teachers will just agree that they're forced to teach to the middle.
Yeah.
Right. So if you can't focus on the students who are struggling, which of course, if you just think of that, right, you can't focus on the students who are struggling. Well, what happens to the students who are struggling then? How do they get caught up?
Yeah.
And you can't focus on the superstars, the ones who are excelling, who could use a little bit more attention and love to make excel even more. And so it's super challenging to, teachers at all ages and all grades, on, how do you come to work every day and how do you reach the maximum number of students that you have when you don't have enough time of the day to give all of them the individual attention that they need. And so I think resources, I think the 2 sort of things that we focus on, one is that sort of interpersonal connection that help. And so now this can happen at night, at evenings. And I'll say most of our tutoring users are struggling. But they tend to be C students trying to become B students. So, it's, if you're just way behind pace, it's awful hard to get those students online.
Yeah.
It's just, it's not, it's the old adage, if I could figure out how to get those people to raise their hand for help, our services would double in size overnight. But what I was pointing out is we do get a fair number of straight A students.
Okay.
To tutoring and say, did I do this right? And the tutor look at it and say, yes, you did this right again. Thank you very much. And they just want that positive affirmation.
Yeah.
The classic overachiever. And so, we do cover a pretty broad spectrum.
Nice.
And a lot of what we do is sort of drop in homework help. So you come in and you're stuck. I just don't remember this thing. The tutor will work it out with you, try to help you remember, look at your notes, go back to your book, get you over the hump. You have that aha moment. Now I remember. I was looking at it backwards, or I forgot the name of it. I was using the wrong formula. Whatever that thing is, you're stuck. And now you leave and you go back on and now you finish your homework. But we do have a fair number of students who kind of come to us for more of the high dosage tutoring. They're coming every day after school. They're stuck in a particular subject. They're having struggles with writing. They're having struggles with math. And they sort of build a longer term relationship with NetTutor and the teacher that they work with.
So what I'm hearing is you don't just partner with institutions, but you also work directly with, well, I'm guessing in that scenario, the people who are reaching out are the parents of the kids. Is that correct?
Well, so it depends. In college, of course, there's FERPA. One of the things about FERPA is that parents also don't have rights to inquire about their students' grades. Like the students can share their grades, but one of the casualties of FERPA, FERPA was really designed so that schools stopped selling student information to credit card companies like they did back in the 80s. But when people like me used to get actual credit cards with my name on it that were ready to go with a $5,000 credit limit, and I just had to go to a store and use it, and it was now my credit card. But as a result of that privacy, so the colleges pay and the students use it for free. And if the parents get involved in that, it might be the school shares some webinars or some other information to let the parents know what they're doing to support their children.
Yeah.
You also can't assume that somebody in college has any support from the parent. I know my children were very blessed to have, our support, my wife and I support, but, they went to college. They had roommates who were doing it all by themselves, taking student loans, and really had no support from home. And so in that case, you would not expect the parent to have any access to what's happening with students. In K-12, it's a little different because they're minors. So, now we have things, we have other things like COPPA, some other legislation. Parents do have the right to be involved. And in fact, if you get down to sort of elementary school, we actually assume that it's the parent coming in with the student for the tutoring.
Got it. In
some cases, the parent might be asking us for help because they're not really sure how to help their student. Because, if you have children, no matter how smart you think you are, your children will bring home 6th grade homework and it will kick your butt because you'll be like, I don't remember any of this stuff. But thank goodness we can just go Google it and hopefully figure it out really quick. And so it's all over the spectrum, but our general approach is the school, the entity, whether it's the district, whether it's the school, they're our customer. They have the relationship with us. And we serve their students however they decide. One of the other really unique things about us is we work with these things called the rules of engagement. We let the school sort of dictate to us, we like to do this, we don't like to do this. You're working in this subject. Remember, we're using this technique, or we're using this math book, or our students are using Khan Academy content, or whatever that may look like. That pulls us. So our tutor sees this information. So when I start working with you, I have a chance to sort of read some bullet points, and the schools can sort of customize the relationship, because what's really important for people to remember is the students have no real capacity to say, oh, NetTutor, that's Link Systems. That's the vendor down in Florida that my school hired to help me. They don't think that at all. They just assume that we are part of the school. So we work really hard to be seamless with the school.
Nice.
Because the last thing we want to do is a student comes to us and says, this is my problem. I don't understand this. And this is what my teacher said. And we don't want to say like, well, we don't know why your teacher said that. That's wrong. Here, let me show you the right way. And then the student goes back and says, look, like the NetTutor guy told me you're wrong. I'd say that's the fastest way to lose a customer.
That makes sense.
So
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so it's a very, very sort of intricate network of how we work, sort of the school, us, and the student. Because when the student leaves us, they're now back with their teacher. When the student leaves the teacher, they might now be back with us. And so if we're going to sort of play that, it's like parenting, right? You want to make sure that your message is as consistent as possible. Unless you're like the cool parent like I was.
What's the most important thing about Link Systems International to you?
I'll say, like, I didn't start this company. I joined this in '98. I had worked with these guys, the people that founded it, at my last company, which we sold, and I came out here as their VP of Business Development, and a few months later, they asked me to take over as president and CEO. And what this really did for me more than anything else is that, I coached basketball at the YMCA for 15 years. I was an Up Warner coach for a very long time. We got to do things as a family. Through work, I got to travel the world. And, I inherited a handful of people when I joined here that are all still here. My first 5 or 6, 7 hires who were really integral and sort of started to grow the business, most of them are all still here.
Nice.
And a lot of these people, I'll just give you an example. Chris Bergeron, she's my chief operating officer. We hired her in 1999 as a calculus tutor while she was going to school at the University of South Florida here in Tampa. And, from that point on till today, she runs all of sales and tutoring operations. She now has a husband who I remember when she first met him, and a daughter who's now 14, 15 years old in high school. And so, more than anything else, our ability to let people sort of raise families, and, live a comfortable life. And there's a lot of people here that have been able to do this, put their kids through college. A lot of us now, 3 of my 4 graduated. So a lot of the ones who I inherited, we're all now in that sort of stage in our life where we're traveling with just our spouses and not bringing the kids along anymore.
Got it.
And to me, more than anything else that we ever did here, and listen, and I've got all kinds of letters of people who've written me and saying they never would have gotten a college degree without NetTutor, and they never would have been able to succeed in math or writing. And, a lot of our sessions start with, listen, I'm too dumb to know math. I shouldn't be in college. I mean, that's how a lot of people start asking for help. And so despite the fact that we've been able to help tens of thousands, we do millions of sessions a year, and we've been able to help tens of thousands of people who've been able to better their life. What means the most to me and what I'm most proud of are the people closest to me that work here who are able to, nobody's going to confuse us with Microsoft. Unfortunately, I didn't make 1,000 millionaires in the first 15 years. But a lot of us have lived a comfortable life and should be able to at least retire with a couple of nickels to rub together. And I think that's certainly what's kept me here for this entire time.
Yeah, well, it is very much noteworthy that you've kept so many members of your team for the best part of 3 decades now, right?
Yeah, it's very suspicious sometimes.
What are you passionate about regarding Link Systems International?
I'm a passionate person.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Italian in me. And so, I come in guns a-blazing every day. So I'm blessed that the company, I'm not going to say it runs itself because that would be a disservice to all the people that put in so much work.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't require me to operate. We have people, the tutoring team runs itself.
Mm-hmm.
The sales team runs itself, with leadership and with managers who are keep on top of people. And so I have the luxury of, I get to sort of pick and choose what I'm most interested in. And, I'll start picking scabs, even if they're not there. And, I have a few trusted consultants who, are into have my ear and challenge me on things and question me on things. And they'll look at my financial statements and they say, why is this like this? And, I'll get a bee in my bonnet and I will start asking the question, and we'll start, and I'll challenge people here to, and maybe the challenge is to answer the question in a way where we decide that it's best and we leave it. I don't do change for change.
Mm-hmm.
But, being able to just sort of work on the things that I feel are most important. The most recent thing is that, we brought on some outside people. We've had a sales process for obviously what we thought was our entire company existence.
Mm.
And somebody said, great, can I see it? And of course, it's like, well, I mean, it's not a physical thing. It's and of course, the bottom line was like, well, you should document this. And so we basically, we're just finishing up this year. It was a 2-year project. But we've now documented a sales process, a lead generation playbook.
Nice.
Deal velocity playbook. It's not necessarily new stuff. I don't think it led us to throw away everything we did, but as we started to write it down, we realized we didn't really measure it very well. And so just a lot of things like that. That's just an example of the type of thing. 10 years ago, it was with our tutor training. We trained people, but we weren't really tracking it. We couldn't, not that we haven't quite gotten to the point where we're giving people badges, because I'm not sure that a NetTutor training badge extrapolates to the outside world very well.
Okay.
Maybe someday we'll do this, but now we have an idea of who's been trained for what. And, if we have a challenge or if we are doing some QA and we see some things happening in certain sessions, we can go back and we can say like, oh, hey, you missed this training. A lot of people, if you've worked here for too long, because we do have a lot of tutors that have been here 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
Our more modern training maybe wasn't given to you, because now we have to get people to kind of come back through training. And so, that was just another example of something and that was probably a 2 or 3 year process to go from a not very well documented, organized thing that we thought we were really good at.
Yeah, I get it.
But now, and again, I don't know that we are convinced it's perfect, but at least now we can measure and make some decisions about what we should do next. And that makes it easier for leadership of the company to sort of put it in the hands of middle management, because now there's a process in place that we can evaluate and monitor. And so, and I think those to me are the things that I most enjoy, is being able to work there. And, and I'll say that, it's possible that the younger version of me might have been hands-on micromanager, get out of my way, let me do it myself, I can do it better than you. But that person has been long suppressed, and I'm much more of a collaborative. I get more enjoyment out of watching other people succeed. With them, they get to present the thing they did to the team. They get to take ownership of it. And I'm way past the point of my career where I need credit for anything. I got all the credit I've needed. I've got 4 young adults as children who I just need to get to the adult stage, and I'll consider my whole life a huge victory.
Nice, man. That's really cool. So how you've mentioned this, you've kind of touched on this, but how does the way Link Systems International approaches marketing and sales now differ from when you came onto the business 25 years now, I guess?
Well, when I came on board, I was sales.
Mm-hmm.
So I started by going online and looking up colleges. I think the first place I did it was Seattle. I just decided I was staying late, and I just started looking up colleges on the online and the phone, like the white pages online. I just started calling them. Yeah, to figure out now. Keep in mind, we're selling online tutoring in 1998.
Okay. Yeah,
the first thing people said is, "What's the internet?"
Yeah.
And the second thing people said is, "Nobody here has the internet." And I remember I still have a copy of it. One of our original. Now this is gonna. If people understand what I'm about to say, then they're just dating themselves. But our original marketing material used to assure people that the whiteboard, the platform that Pisces and NetTutor uses, would run on a 9600 baud modem.
Oh gosh,
that was very important because the 16.6s were just coming out. The 28.8s hadn't been out yet. And so, when you're going to unplug your house phone to plug in your computer so that you could download AOL, we had to ensure you that you could actually connect to a tutor. And so, fast forward, now we have a 15-person sales and marketing team with regional reps all over the country. We now have a detailed sales process. We have KPIs. So, we're a much, much, much more formally run sales and marketing organization than we were, 20 years ago. The other thing I'll say is, for the first 10 years of the company, maybe 15 years of the company, we relied very heavily on McGraw-Hill, Pearson, John Wiley, Macmillan, Houghton Mifflin. We had really good partnerships with the publishing companies. So we were getting paid, pennies on the dollar for what we did, but they were distributing it to hundreds of thousands of people at a time across 30, 40 schools at a time. And so our revenue was probably 70, 80% with the publishing industry, and 20% direct to schools. And then, in the early 10s, 12, 13, 14, publishing companies went through a major reconciliation. There were a lot of bankruptcies, and some of them sold to private equity. There was a lot of reorganizations, and basically their ability to have a new edition come out every 3 years, add a whole bunch of digital homework, online tutoring, videos, and all these free services, and expect, 6% price increase twice a year. That sort of came crashing down. They, digital books, digital homework became a much more important thing. And so our ability to sort of partner with the publishing companies sort of just within 14, 15 months went from, 80% of our revenue down to 15% of our revenue.
Oh, wow.
And so, we've now built it back up as we've now focused directly to school. And so now we have, 500-600 schools who are our customers, who are buying, whether it's through their through their chancellor's office or through a state office or through the district office or to school itself. Are now direct customers with us. We still share a great partnership with some of the publishing companies, but, the business model that existed for such a long time has gone away. And that's one of the interesting things about being a company our age. We went through, about a year after I started, the dot-com bubble burst happened.
That's right.
And then 10 years after I started, the real estate crisis happened.
Yeah.
And then 10 years after that, COVID. And so we've gone through some major, outside of what we do, economic challenges in the course, and how those affected schools. Sometimes when the economy gets worse, enrollments go up.
Okay.
So schools might, so having the schools as your customer might be a good thing when the economy's bad and people now realize I got to get a new job, I got to go learn something, I got to go become a nurse, whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
Of course, that COVID was a lot different. That really, really hurt schools, hurt enrollments. But it gave a big boost. If you were not really taking online education seriously as a college or as a school district, COVID fixed that.
Yeah.
So now, even though I think we're seeing a lot of the work from home, people now no longer believe that is in fact the most productive thing to do with your employees. A lot of bigger companies now starting to call those employees back in.
Yeah.
Because they want them in the office. They want them to collaborate. They want them together. Whatever the inconvenience of having to drive to and from work and showering and putting on clothes every day.
Yeah.
I think we're starting to see, so that pendulum is starting to swing back. But I don't think you're going to see the pendulum swing back as hard with academics. I think there's still going to be people now realize there are in fact some things, especially around student services, that are better if we offer them online so that they can be available 24/7. Whether or not certain classes are better served face-to-face than online, I'll let people smarter than me debate that. But for sure, things like online tutoring, I think now are taken much more seriously now than they were sort of pre-COVID, especially in K-12. In K-12, they wouldn't entertain the idea of paying for this kind of service. And I think now that they got a chance to experience it, they see what benefit it can have to students.
That makes sense.
And more importantly, to teachers and administrators, if those students are able to get the help they need and stay in the school longer, from a financial perspective, that's a smart thing for schools to do.
Yeah, so it's always good, I think, if you can come at it any explanation from various angles, and if you can explain to, I think, a school in this case, the economic advantages of working with you guys, then that's another reason for them to move forward, right?
That's right.
That's cool. I like that a lot. What's a common misconception people have about either yourself or Link Systems International?
Well, I would say one of the challenging misconceptions about tutoring, and this isn't necessarily a misconception about everybody, is that we're here to give the answers. And there are places that aren't too hard to find online. I will not be naming them here. But I know, having put some kids through college, I am aware that for $9.95 a month, you can take a picture of your homework, text it online, and get back the answer to the question. Or you can or if you have a homework, you can subscribe to a practice test service, Google the text, search for the text of your question, and get the exact question that's in your homework or your test with the correct answer. That is not tutoring. Tutoring is a lot of empathy. It is a lot of growth mindset. It is encouragement. I know this stuff. I can show you how to do it. But sometimes I need to get you out of your own head and show you how to become an independent learner. And I have seen and we're looking at this stuff all the time, and anything I've ever seen that is AI related, and certainly texting my question and having the answer, worked out answer emailed back to me. Just like asking, ChatGPT to write a 4-page paper for me on Napoleon Bonaparte, make it sound like it's a freshman in high school's work, which you can do, and you'll get a 4-page paper. By the way, if you submit that to NetTutor, we'll know you did it. We'll tell you you did it, and we'll comment on how it's obvious that you're using AI to write this paper. But again, that's cheating. Tutoring is what we do is we say, what do you know? What do you think you're missing? And let's help you figure out how to find it. And a tutor giving you a hint or pointing out the formula you're missing, that's sort of our last resort. And we we need to see you make an investment. And I'd say one of our badges of honor is, everybody does a star. You can do a detailed survey, but everybody's asked to do a star survey. We probably get 7-8% 1-star surveys. And so we have a team here that will go and they'll read every single one. And 90% of the 1-star surveys said, I went online. My tutor was Vinnie. Although I'm told you, it'll never really be me. But and all I wanted was the answer. And he kept asking me questions. Driving me crazy. I hate your service. And we actually will give our tutor a pat on the back. Like, that's exactly, if a student won't engage with a tutor, then they're not interested in tutoring.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, what we've seen is, AI might give you some steps, but AI is not asking you to confirm that you've understand it. AI is not engaging you in a dialogue. Tutoring is, more than anything else, tutoring is not teaching. Tutoring is a dialogue with a tutor about what you've been taught and helping process it in a way that now it makes more sense to you than it did after you were taught in the first place. And so, again, that's just a long way of me saying one of the biggest misconceptions that we have, although I think as an industry, people are getting more and more comfortable with it, is just that, who are these outsiders? What we hear a lot is, my students don't need tutoring. If they have any questions, they'll just ask me. Of course they're not going to ask you. We know that there's a significant number of students in any given classroom who will never, ever, ever raise their hand out of fear of being exposed as a fraud.
Yeah.
If I ask a question, then he's going to know, and I'm sure you dealt with this a lot with your teacher.
Yeah.
I ask him, even if I go to your office hours or after school, if I ask these questions, he's now going to understand that I don't know anything that he's been teaching me.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do that.
I get it.
That's why tutors are such a great resource, because, you can ask us anything and we're not going to report it back to the teacher.
Yeah.
And by the way, a lot of times those questions aren't as dumb as people think they are.
Sure.
They might actually be really good questions, but you're just panicked to ask.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's easy to forget, right? Like, you've got, as a teacher, you've got a class of, say, 30 kids in front of you. There's a decent percentage of those kids that are introverted. They're just
That's right.
incredibly shy. Like, one boy in particular that I taught when I was a high school teacher springs to mind. I could not, for the love of God, get him to speak to me. He just wouldn't speak to me. And that's fine, but I'm hoping and imagining that if he were to come across a solution such as your own, where it's kind of one-on-one, there's not that class pressure of all his peers being around him and watching him, I'm hoping that child, or a child like that, will be able to get the information they need and the learning that they need.
Well, that's a great thing, right? So when you're an introvert, extreme introvert, right? You're a hermit. You live by yourself. You don't talk to anybody. You stay in all door. That's not who these students are. I bet you he had friends. I bet he had friends that he talked to. He wasn't comfortable talking to you.
Yeah,
right?
sure.
He didn't want to talk in front of the class.
Yeah.
Right. And that's very different than, I don't want to talk to anybody. I just want to keep to myself. Leave me alone. And so, so then you have to understand, that then there's all sorts of social construct and who his family is, who his parents are, how he was raised. There's religion, race, socioeconomic background. There's a whole bunch of contributing factors about why anybody, anyway, in a public environment, a public setting.
Yeah.
And right. And one way of doing it is making it your problem. And again, if you have to teach to the middle, how much time did you have per day to work with him?
Few minutes.
Or whomever.
Few minutes.
Works out of this. Right. So what about a resource like this where, and I'll also say, a lot of our tutors are introverts. A lot of them are former teachers who realized when the first time they had to teach a class that they could not stand in front of a classroom of people. So the online, if there's audio and video, a lot of, schools love us to have audio and video. Most students want nothing to do with the video. They don't want to be on screen. They don't want people to see with it. And a lot of our tutors, not all of them, but a lot of our tutors sort of fit that same bill.
Okay.
And then But what do they find a commonality of is you have a math question and, oh my goodness, I love math. I would like to nerd out math with you. And by the way, if I can work with you and get you to like math just a little bit, it's going to make my day because that's how much I love chemistry, or I love nursing. And so it's a very, very different environment.
Yeah, I get it. So some of this springs to mind is it seems like online education is serving many segments of society, but it's becoming more clear to me that it's serving introverts massively. Would you agree with that?
I would agree. I mean, listen, let me say it a different way. I don't want to mass label students as
I'm just talking about of your learners.
What we tell people, we tell our schools, and when we partner with somebody, and we like to say this early and often to them because I think we want to meet a student at the time and place of their need.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what we say is, if you think of concentric circles, if you need help, the best thing to do is go to your teacher. Stay after school. If your teacher's having a session after school, if the teacher's having office hours in college, whatever that is. That's the best thing to do. If your teacher will work with you, if you get along with your teacher, if you're comfortable with the teacher, there's no question if I'm teaching art history and you have questions about what I'm teaching, then I'm great. The next sort of concentric circle is friends and family. Mm-hmm. If you happen to have an older sister who's an art history major, that's probably your best bet. Or if your mom happens to be the curator of a museum, or if you have other friends who taking art history with you, or you're in a Greek organization or any social organization, face to face, people people that you trust. So then the next sort of concentric circle is all the online tutoring, the tutoring center on campus.
Yeah,
go in there. But we tell this people. So if you notice, I haven't gotten to what I do yet. Go to a tutoring center, go find somebody, sit down with them face to face, make the connection, look at stuff together, draw stuff together. Facial expressions, body expressions can be shared. That's how you can build a great rapport. And so the last result, the last option, is online tutoring because you're missing the face to face. However, and people say, well, okay, well, why would I do this? Well, one, we're 24/7. So right off the bat, all those other things has to be done inconvenient to the person giving you the help, not inconvenience to the person who needs the help. Yeah. And what if you have a job? What if you're raising a family? I mean, there's a whole, what if you don't live on campus?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of factors that will, like, what if you aren't comfortable being in the same room? Like, what if you don't like to be in a room with people? The idea you would rather stab yourself in the face than walk into a tutoring center where there's 150 people. And some people walk into those rooms. I do it all the time. I walk into these tutoring centers and they are a buzz. And it gets my adrenaline flowing. Like, I love it. I look at these new buildings that colleges have built, or going into the library at high schools and just seeing students talking and just the hooting and hollering around there, and just it just feels like learning to me, and I love it. But that I'm a different breed than most, right? So a lot of people, the idea of walking into a crowded library, just not going to do it. Help those. And so in that case, you are right, but I don't think it's necessarily the introverts in the category. It's the people that just can't get there. And I think there's a broad range of reasons why. It's just not convenient. Our busiest time is between 10 and 2 a.m. on Sundays.
10 and 2 a.m. Okay.
Sundays, especially in the fall, Sunday night football's over.
Yeah.
The party's ended. You've just dawned on you it's Monday tomorrow. And you realize what you have due tomorrow. And now nobody can help you. The tutoring center's closed. The teacher's not there. Your parents can't, so now your options at 11 p.m. are very, very limited. To who you get to ask. And good news, we're here online. We're ready to help. So
that's cool. That's very cool. Vincent, I'm looking at the time, so we're coming close to the end. I would like to go in briefly into this section we call love hate.
I I love you.
I hate you so much!
What makes you angry, or what do you love about the e-learning world?
Well, I'm pretty certain that I'm done ever being angry.
Okay.
I grew up a Boston sports fan, and I was angry for most of my adult life. And the last 25 years, I think I pretty much promised myself that there's short of somebody threatening my family, I don't think he would get me angry.
Okay.
And like I said, what I love, it's the people that I work with. We have a lot of customers that have been with us for 20 plus years, and so we have a lot of people who I remember them when they were a tutor, and they're now running their learning center, and their boss, who was running the learning center 10 years ago, is now a dean at the college. People have gone from one school to the other. So we have some employees who have left to go work in the industry. We have some customers who have come work for us. And so just sort of have this wide net of just friends and family.
Nice.
Who just all are like-minded when it comes to helping students, right? And it's not
cool.
Listen, nobody gets into this industry to make hundreds of millions of dollars. Like they're just not there. Like we're relying on schools to pay for things, and they can hardly pay teachers what they afford, what they deserve, right?
Yeah.
So they don't have all kinds of money to pay for these extra services. But the commonality, and this is what I really love, is there's sort of the micro approach, whereas we help you. We help this student right now, today. The Learning Center has that person. We a lot of students with who need accommodations. We work with students who are visually impaired or motor skill impaired. A lot of military who have some type of concentration issues, and just that's one of the big training things we do, is to just work with people again at their pace and the moment and place that they need the help. And I think that's incredibly rewarding for a lot of people here. And then sort of at the macro level, it's just in general, our country needs nurses. Well, guess what? A huge portion of our customer base are nursing schools.
Okay.
We're helping not just with the nursing tutoring, taking courses. And again, lab work, phlebotomy, like we're not helping you draw blood online. Like that's just not our skill set. But dosage, and there's math, and there's reading, and there's writing.
Okay.
And there's just a lot of stuff it's the reading, writing, arithmetic. It's the 3 R's that get in the way of people's ability to learn something new. Because while they fundamentally understand the content, there's just some fundamentals, blocking and tackling kind of things. And so, so here we are, we've been doing this for the last 10, 15 years, and again, we're certainly not taking credit for single-handedly trying to fix the nursing problem in this country, but we do have our hand in it. And those nursing careers change people's lives. I know my aunt just became a nurse before she turned 60. She did some other things. She did some paralegal work and lived a great life, but just decided that she wanted to make a change, and she became a nurse 4 or 5 years ago, and now she's doing great. And from what I understand, making more money now at this point in her life than she ever did before, because she bit the bullet as an adult with adult kids and went back to school to learn to be a nurse. And so I think those types of things are the stuff that I think we all here just sort of, it's the light that we're attracted to, the things that we really do. I think love is probably not too strong a word for how we feel.
Yeah. I like it. This is great. Vincent, how can people find you and Link Systems International?
I'm on LinkedIn as Vincent Forese, And the company is Link-Systems International.
Yeah.
And link-systems.com is our website.
Yeah.
Where we publish a webinar schedule, we have a pretty transparent effort. So, all of our products have webinars every, multiple times a week, some during the day, some a little later, so that we're touching on the time zones. There's a directory to reach all of our employees, or some general mailboxes to reach us at. And I'm on LinkedIn, not every day, but try to do stuff. And so, yeah, that would be, we welcome the attention.
Great stuff. Well, we'll link to all that in the show notes. Just let's say thank you very much, Vincent.
I appreciate it.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that conversation as much as I did. If you have an e-learning business, you're a leader of an e-learning business that you're looking to get to the next level, increase sales, that kind of thing, feel free to reach out. I'll put a link to my LinkedIn beneath this video, and you can get me there. Have a great day.